SGC to transition to boutique grading brand as president resigns. So for those that don't know, SGC's president, Peter Steinberg, has resigned from his role. And if those don't remember, what was it, 18 months ago, give or take? Collectors, the company that owns PSA, bought SGC. So in theory, PSA owns SGC. In theory, I remember sitting here saying that in soon time, SGC will be completely irrelevant. It seems to be that will be the case moving forward because I don't know about you, Ricky. I don't know what the hell boutique grading means.
Yeah, I don't know what they mean by that.
Like when I think of boutique clothing, I'm thinking of like something European. I'm thinking something maybe old school, something you don't see every day, something you're not going to wear every day, something that's like, one of those like sunflower hats. I don't know. I don't know how a boutique grader. What the hell does that mean? So let's read the article.
Did they say that themselves, or is that someone's opinion?
I think they said that themselves.
Oh yeah,
read that story by Collect. I'll just read the article and we'll see where it goes. SGC president Peter Steinberg has resigned from his role amid plans for the card grader to scale down operations from a major authenticator to a boutique brand. Scale down. People know what that means? This video was brought to you by my loyal patrons through the channel membership program. Pledge today and receive exclusive perks, benefits, early access to videos, and more. Link in the description. That means they're dialing it back. They're not going to be grading as much. Probably why they weren't grading at the National, because of all the costs that would have taken to bring all the equipment down and to do it. Probably because PSA is either shutting them down or because they are not making enough funds.
Right.
Steinberg announced his resignation in a post to social media Thursday morning. Quote, effective immediately, I've made the difficult decision to resign from my position at SGC. Steinberg wrote on SGC's X account. As you can imagine, this decision was not made lightly, as my time as SGC has been the most rewarding chapter of my life. Quote, however, I feel that now is the right time and I have full confidence in our outstanding team moving forward, end quote. News of Steinberger's resignation comes alongside new plans for the company described by PSA president Ryan Hoge in an interview with Rob DeMay on the NEO Cards and Comics YouTube channel. SGC was acquired by PSA parent company Collectors in February 2024, literally 18 months ago. At the time of the acquisition, SGC and PSA plan to continue operating as separate brands with some shared resources. What if I told you, Ricky, that GMC, that makes Chevy, that obviously makes GMC, was to buy Ford, but will operate as separate identities? Chevy will still have the Camaro, Ford will still have the Mustang, but GMC will just own Ford. That doesn't work. That doesn't make sense. The company Ford, and in this case SGC, will dissolve over time. According to Hoge, SGC struggled to scale following the acquisition without a significant amount of investment in capital and technology. Collectors in PSA, following the acquisition by now CEO Nat Turner and his investment group in 2021, received millions in capital to expand operations. The investment helped scale the business, according to Hoge, from grading roughly 15,000, 18,000 cards per day, closer to 80,000 cards per day. That's crazy.
And that's not even, is that just business days too, or is that like?
I'm going to assume it's business days. The investment helped scale the business. Okay, hold on. Collectors in PSA, following the acquisition and his investment group, received millions. Okay, yeah. So that is why PSA is able to grade 1.67 million cards a month, because they had all that money in investment to grade 80,000
How many business days a month?
Holy crap.
That's about 80,000 a day.
Wow. That's why they're the only one that's grading millions. But, Ricky, the turnaround times are still forever. Make this make sense. How are you grading 8,000 cards, but you're still taking anywhere from 2 to 6 months to return cards?
Because people are still sending in 50-year base cards.
Still sending in junk, and you're getting 8s on it. Quote, both Peter and I agreed it did not make sense for us to duplicate that investment to have another mega-scale card grading brand. Hoge said SGC is awesome, but SGC is awesome at what they do, including vintage, including affordability, fast grading, and we want to keep that at the ethos in the core of what SGC is going forward. There you have it. There's the definition of boutique. Is they're awesome. Great. It includes great vintage, affordable, and fast turnaround times. That's what they're going for here. So collectors and SGC is not going to get the same investment that PSA received. So they bought SGC and did not feed them the capital that they needed. Say it for how you want, but I think SGC got done dirty. I do.
That just sounds like they were just trying to get rid of competition. And let's say the cheapest way to grade is $20. They're making $1.6 million a day.
That just like almost makes you want to like kind of vomit a little bit. A day.
Like that's
Before upcharges. Before any upcharges.
That's the cheapest way of. That's what the cheapest way to grade.
Is it me or did I just get a migraine? Oh my God. A specific dollar amount for the purchase was not publicly disclosed at the time of the sale, so we'll never know. Collectors noticed. Here's a hypothetical. Collectors noticed that SGC was on the up and up because when we were looking at the grading reports, SGC was second for a really good time, good while. Second, third, depending on the month. Yeah. They noticed that a rival competition based on that affordability, quick turnaround time. They're like, let's just buy it off, pretend that we care. See you later. Wow.
Yeah, that's what they did. They just bought out the competition and killed it.
Okay, we decided, quote, we decided we want to right size it, shrink in a little bit, have it go back to the pre-insanity of the COVID spike levels. Maybe back to the 2017, 18, 19 levels of SGC and position it more as kind of a boutique grading brand that's still there to serve customers for both modern and vintage. We can all say that the COVID spike is what helped SGC grow and become a massive powerhouse.
Yeah, wait. They said they want to be back to where they were.
Shrink in a little bit, have it go back to the pre-insanity of the COVID spike levels. Maybe back to the 2017, 18 levels.
Why would they want that? Do they want it to be more special and not as diluted? You're like, oh, this is an SGC graded card.
Oh, you don't see it all the every day, so that's why it's going to be 10% more than Beckett or CGC or PSA even, because this is a boutique grader. This is like Ferragamo here. You got some Coach. Like this one's better. According to third-party grading tracker GemRate, whoa, PSA graded 8.89 million items in the first 6 months of 2025, which we did go over that report. For an increase of 18% year over year, SGC graded roughly 962,000 items over that same time frame, for a 3% increase year over year. Hoagie told DeMay discussions of SGC's future began earlier this year, and the transition has been a work of progress for months. A significant amount of SGC staff will shift to work with PSA. Wow, told you that one. The company will also utilize SGC's Boca Raton, Florida location to help supplement PSA's grading efforts. Might as well throw a PSA label on it, Ricky. Boca Raton. Yeah, Boca Raton. And there you have it. SGC is owned, operated, and staffed by PSA, except those PSA workers are putting a different label and a different holder around your card. That's literally what it's come down to, for good or for bad. Wow, I did not expect I'm glad we read into this. This was good. Any takeaways? I mean, how do you feel about SGC now? If you had I know you don't do vintage, but let's say you had some vintage cards laying around, sports cards specifically, or you wanted to capitalize on their $11 grading fee or whatever some of those specials are that they run. Are they even a thought, or are you just screw it?
I haven't looked, obviously, because I'm not into it, but I haven't looked at vintage prices compared SGC versus PSA. It used to be forever that SGC was a little premium. That was SGC's specialty, where they really came onto the scene as a vintage grader. I don't, like I said, I don't know what the case is now, but just by going with what I know, I want like vintage in the SGC.
If they were to come out and say SGC, we're transitioning to solely do vintage cards from 1980 and before, pick whatever time frame you want, And then obviously, every year that passes will, allow a new year. So, 81 next year, 82 the year after that, and so on to stay within that, whatever they define as a vintage window or a vintage cutoff. I can probably get my head around that. And then for them saying that's a boutique grader, okay. Because it allows these other companies, Beckett, PSA, CGC, to kind of run around for competition in terms of Pokemon, sports, ultra modern, case hits, downtowns, kabooms, RPAs, and all that fun stuff. But hey, you got vintage cards? We're your guys. We're the company that should, because you're right. A lot of vintage collectors do like SGC for the black tuxedo look. It makes the faded color of those cards just pop with the all black compared to some of the other competitors. They're just like, hey, we're still gonna do vintage and modern, but we're gonna be a boutique grader. So like when you see our slabs, know that it's not really a thing anymore. It's pretty much BCCG at this point. You'll find in those Walmart mystery boxes.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, February last year, we knew that this was going to happen. That PSA would eventually run SGC into the ground because there's no need in running two major grading companies. There just isn't a need unless you want to take out the competition, and that is exactly what they did.